Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today is, what is today? Today is Thursday, May 14th, 2020. Losing track of time here with all this COVID stuff. Also losing track of my razor. And I need a haircut too, but who doesn't, right? Unless you're doing a home haircut, which I'm going to have my wife do soon, I guess. I hate when I get to this age that, you know, grows on the sides fast, but nothing up top. Anyways, enough about my hair. Gonna do a flea market finds or tool pick. No flea market finds really, because no flea markets to go to with the whole COVID thing. Even though the weather's nice enough, nothing going on here in New England that I know of. What we're gonna do today is a pick of stuff that I got, a decent sized lot of Machinist items that I picked up from somebody just over the line here in Connecticut that actually had I had just bought from them not that long ago a Fowler dial caliper, I think a 12-inch Fowler dial caliper, and we actually did a little bit of trading. They wanted the Fowler ball micrometer that I had with the ball faces, and we did a deal there, and then we ended up communicating. He had said that he had gotten a hold of a whole bunch of stuff, and a lot of the stuff he didn't need or had no interest in, and some of the stuff he didn't even know what it was. And he sent me a couple of photos of a couple of items. I recognized one of them pretty quickly and realized, oh, that's something I think I would like for myself. So we decided to meet. He was kind enough to invite me to his home during this COVID madness, but we stayed in the basement. He's got a basement shop like me. He's got a mess, not quite as bad as mine, but went through a bunch of stuff and ended up buying quite a bit of goodies. So let's get right to it. All right, I'm going to start with the contents of this tub because basically this stuff right here he had no interest in, and he said I could just have it. It was free for the taking. So I'm not gonna, not gonna turn down free. So got a whole bunch of these abrasive 3M abrasive discs. So I'm not sure. I think I might have somewhere. I might have a backing pad that these could be used with. So these suckers right here are pretty abrasive. They're 24 oxide discs. So they've got a really, I mean, they're gonna be for removing some stuff pretty fast. Some of them are, stuck in this shape, but I think they'll still be usable. But I got probably, I don't know how many in here. But hell, since it was free, that was worth the price of admission right there. And then I got a container of 3M 470 electroplating tape. I don't know what the heck I can do with that, but I don't know what else I could use that for. I got a bunch of these unusual little Norton grinding wheels, just to give you an idea here. Yeah, we're having trouble speaking all of a sudden. And the larger one. These are all Norton, so they're good brand name. Oh, this is a funky one. 4-inch diameter by 1.5 inch, but it's got a radius on it. Oh no, it's not a wheel at all. It's a sharpening stone, a round one. So that's just, you just sit that flat and you. Oh, that'd be nice for just touching up the edge on something, like a lathe tool or something like that. There's another one. 1.5 by 4-inch sharpening stone. Same thing. Don't know what these are. Some little stones like this. Quite a few of them wrapped up in some paper towel. There's a regular grinding wheel there. There you got some cap screws. Oh, here's an arbor. That's kind of weird. Here's a whole bag of these blue ones. Here's a container of something called Frix-Tech 19850 aluminum bronze final coat. So he was thinking this might be for like spray welding, for what do you call that kind of welding that basically you spray the molten material on. I don't know. So I have to look that up, see what that is. And then we got these 2 cans of the Spot Check. We've got the Spot Check Penetrant and the Spot Check Developer. And I'll look this up real quick, but I think that these are for, I think this is actually for looking for cracks in castings and stuff. I might be wrong about that. Well, let's find out if I am. All right, so let's start with this stuff. This stuff must be pretty old because the only thing I could find about it just keeps coming up on all those websites where they have all like surplus stuff from back in the day. So it's metallic overlay welding powder is what it comes up as. This says it's an aluminum bronze final coat. So this must have been used for some sort of a process that maybe they don't even do anymore. I don't know. So if anybody knows of a use for this, let me know. Looks like back in the day it was pretty expensive, like 60 something bucks for a bottle of this, and I guess now, you know, you can't give it away. These 2 chemicals here are part of the magnafluxing process, so I was on the right track. It does have to do with crack detection, but basically when you use the magnaflux process to detect cracks, this is to help accelerate or accentuate that process. So since I do not have a magnaflux, I do not need this. And a lot of the stuff you're going to see here in this pick, he basically just threw in for free. As if I wanted it for free, I could just take it with me. So I took pretty much just about everything he offered me for free. And some of this stuff, when you see it, you're going to see why. It's going to be pretty evident. But there are some decent things in here. Here's a micrometer. This is like a 4 to 5 inch. I think, I don't remember if this is the Mitutoyo or not. This is a Mitutoyo. It's a 103-219. You can just barely make out the part number and the made in Japan on it. So this has seen a lot of use. The lock actually still works. It's a 1/10 micrometer. Actually, it's probably still serviceable to some extent, but I think there are some chips on the carbide faces on this one. Yeah, it's a chipped face. But, you know, that'll be a dirt cheap micrometer for somebody. Here's a spring caliper. Like most of the spring calipers I come across, this has no markings on it to indicate a manufacturer. While we're at it, let's take a look at these other ones. This one has an interesting dog leg to it. That's actually, it wasn't damaged. That's actually how it's by design. And it's got this fine adjust. This is a Starrett, early one. Here's an inside caliper. Looks pretty old. No maker on that one either. Got to be pretty early though. Here's a tool of unknown origin. Appears to be some sort of puller. Anybody recognize what that is? Be a good Mr. Pete, what is it tool, huh? Maybe? I don't know. It's marked Renold, R-E-N-O-L-D, England. Well, that was easy to find. It's got a 311-007 over here, which makes sense because it says it's England, right? 007, England. Clearly, it is a weapon that James Bond would use. No, it's a chain breaker. It's a heavy-duty chain breaker. Apparently, that company, Renold, is a major manufacturer of chain and power transmission type of stuff. But anyways, so that might actually be a handy tool for me to hold on to. And since the going rate on these on eBay is about $10, $10 to $20 only, might as well keep it. Never know when I might want to break some chain. All of this water damage happened in the shop where he got the stuff from. So he started going through some of the stuff and realized because of the water damage that it just wasn't worth for him to bother with. So like this bag right here is full of drill bits that are actually still wet and rusty. But that's no big deal. I could throw those in the parts washer and might be able to still salvage those drill bits. What's more heartbreaking is stuff like this. This is an old Federal dial snap gauge. So the idea would be that this would be a go no-go tester. So what's supposed to happen is this is actually supposed to move enough to actuate. Look at that, it actually still is working. So this is the kind of thing, it's like, boy, you hate to see it get thrown away, but it would be a true labor of love to get this thing back in action. So you must loosen these right here, and then that must let this slide up and down in its dovetail for like a course adjustment. You would put a gauge in here, set it to a gauge, and then you could use this for doing comparisons. I can't, oh there we go, that's, ugh. This actually could be saved. Yeah, the indicator's hanging a little bit. You know, what do you expect, you know? Oh well. Talk about heartbreaking losses. These are most likely Federal. Actually, these are Boyce gauges, B-O-I-C-E. But these are bore gauges. All right, and you can see that they unfortunately have been badly damaged from water. We got a couple different sizes here. Look at that one. So the reason why I took these was because I thought maybe I could save the gauge portion, and because most of these you can just loosen these clamps over here and just remove this, and it's just usually a regular drop indicator. And then, you know, if you were able to save this part, put a new drop indicator in it, you might be able to salvage this bore gauge. But I'm looking at the bottoms here, and they're really rough. Jeez. We got another caliper here, inside caliper, inside spring caliper. Oh, this is kind of neat. This is an old early Goodall Pratt from Greenfield, Massachusetts. So that's a real early one there. Good size one too. Here's another unusual one. Can't find the manufacturer on this one. That's got an unusual shape to it for sure, though. It's got one leg quite a bit shorter than the other. Next item is this 12-inch standard. If you're setting your 12-inch micrometer, it's, you know, no way to treat a standard. Kind of beat up. But the ends still look like they are okay. And it is actually a Starrett 12-inch standard, so, you know, again, hate to see it just get thrown out. This is a really early Starrett micrometer, 0 to 1 inch. This unusual little design here. This reminds me of the Goodall Pratt one that I had a while back. I think I might still have that one. And again, you know, good old Pratt was over in Greenfield, Massachusetts. Sterrett was in Athol. Not terribly far from each other. You wonder whether or not at some point Sterrett bought out good old Pratt. I don't remember the history on that. Needs work. But offer it cheap to somebody who might be into collecting them and wants to put the time into cleaning it up. Not frozen. Now this is a nice little item here. This is a Sterrett toolmaker's vise. Little one. The reason why I put it in this bag is because he had what appears to be all the pieces, but it was missing a screw. So that sits on there like that, and this bar goes on the bottom, and then we just need to find a screw for it. Well, turns out this might not be a Sterrett. It looks just like a Sterrett, but I haven't been able to find any markings on it anywhere. Also, I just spent a lot of time going through tons of screws that I have. Couldn't figure out why nothing would screw into this. Finally, I ended up having to use my taps to figure out what this was, and it turns out this is a 540 thread. So, I don't apparently have any 540 screws. Must not be a very common size. So for the time being, I guess I'll just have to keep this in the bag until I get a chance to pick up a 540 screw. Hopefully the local hardware store has them. I mean, it's pretty common to find them online, but the fact that all of my screws, random screws I have, I can't find one of them, makes me think that that's an oddball thread. Oh, just going back to these calipers for a minute. Turns out these two calipers here are both Sterrett. You can actually, the first dead giveaway was the fact that I knew this one was a Sterrett because it's marked, so it's marked with a patent date of May 21st, 1895. And you can see that this one, really, the knob design is a perfect match. So that's what told me this was probably also a Sterrett. And then it turns out it is marked. It's marked right here on the dog leg. So that's why I kind of missed it. So I don't know whether or not these were hermaphrodite calipers that had been modified by somebody this way, or whether or not these were made special this way. I can't find these in my earlier Sterrett catalog, but I mean, my early Sterrett catalog isn't that early. It isn't 1800s early, so I don't know. But there's like the 36, 37, 38, and 39 calipers are all very similar to these, but they came a lot later when they started putting those numbers on them. These predate those, obviously, because they have no part numbers on them. They just have that old patent date on them. And then I decided, as long as I'm going through the calipers, I went through the boxes here of stuff that we're going to be going through in this episode, and just pulled out what appears to be the remaining calipers. So let's just look at these real quick. Here's a here's another Sterrett. Actually, oh, these are really interesting. These are marked the Athol Machine Company of Athol, Massachusetts. So these aren't even marked Sterrett, but these might be very, very early by Mr. Sterrett himself. The Athol Machine Company. So again, that might be a good collectible layer. These are a lot cleaner, and these are marked the L.S. Sterrett Company of Athol, Massachusetts, made in the USA. These right here, somebody, almost looks like somebody modified a, oh, it looks like a scale pouch that somebody modified, maybe. Well, these have really sharp inside caliper tips on there. This is also an L.S. Sterrett. And this one, this little guy here, is also an L.S. Sterrett. A little sweet little set of dividers. So these are nice. I decided to stop collecting these because it was getting kind of crazy. Uh, I was collecting, I was trying to get every size of every style. And what I decided to keep is I decided to keep just the toolmaker version. The toolmaker version of calipers are the shafts are round, so that's the main difference. And I think they're a little more. I think they were originally more expensive. Ah, very interesting. Athol Machine Company, apparently founded in 1868. Leroy Sterrett, one of America's tool pioneers and inventor of the combination square, was the founder, along with other associates, of the Athol Machine Company in 1868. During the time with the company, Sterrett developed the line of vices, a meat chopper, and other mechanics tools. He left the company due to patent disputes in 1875. Subsequently, Leroy sued the Athol Manufacturing Company and won. This left him with enough capital to buy the company in 1905. Records from the Secretary of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Division of Corporations prove that Athol Machine Company changed its name to Athol Machine and Foundry in December of 1920. Therefore, Athol vices bearing the name Athol Machine Company are pre-1921, and those that are with the other name post-1921. So that tells us that, as I suspected, these are a very, very early pair of outside calipers that were made by a company founded by Sterrett, Leroy Sterrett, and later purchased by him. So that's pretty fascinating right there. I think it is anyways. All right, guys, I'm going to close out this part one of this series right here, but I wanted to revisit something. This old Sterrett micrometer that I looked at briefly before. Kind of figured it must be a really early one. Well, turns out when I was looking for the Athol Tool Company stuff on eBay, I decided to search just Athol Machine Company. I decided to search just Athol Machine, and just by chance in the sold auctions, I spotted this L.S. Sterrett Athol Mass 1890-1891 patent micrometer that sold for $165. And I looked at the picture and I said, boy, that looks just like the one that I have. And lo and behold, let me get the picture bigger here, but son of a gun, if that is not the same micrometer. Now that one's in excellent condition, but looking at it up close, I realized that it actually does have the patent dates right on here. So it's marked with the same exact patent dates that this one is marked, which are July 29th, 1890 and March 10th, 1891. So this is a highly collectible micrometer, apparently. I mean, I'm assuming, otherwise why would somebody have paid $165 plus $8 shipping for the thing? So that is that's really something. So I think this might be something I'm going to need to put on eBay, just because it's got this collectible value to it, but I really can't know for sure how much the condition it's in hurts it. I mean, obviously it hurts it, but how much, right? So anyways, I just thought you might find that interesting, because I sure did. This was basically just considered like a piece of junk by the seller that I was dealing with, and by myself at the time. But that's kind of cool that it's got that kind of a pedigree to it. All right. Oh, it's late. I'm going to call it a night. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If you do, please hit the like button, and please, if you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Take care.